was wrong. That's your microphone.
It is? Can it be lowered at all? Because I'm... Oh, okay.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Sudman, and on behalf of the members of Beth Israel Jewish Congregation of Sun City Center and St. Andrew Presbyterian Church, I would like to welcome all of you here this evening. We are honored that so many of you chose to share in the remembrance of the Holocaust. Thank you to 50 members of our extended community who are participating in this service this evening, representing the following congregations: All Paths to God Congregation, Beth Israel Jewish Congregation, Calvary Lutheran Church of Ruskin, First Church of Christ, Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Mission, Prince of Peace Catholic Church, St. Andrew Presbyterian Church, St. John the Divine Episcopal Church, and Sun City Center United Methodist Church. A very special thanks to Jeff Jordan, our musical director, who has beautifully crafted our music this evening. At this time, please turn off all phones and beepers. Perfect timing, perfect timing. You have all been given a service booklet, and there are readings in that booklet, but some of them have been changed, and there are some additions as well. So all of the readings and most of the lyrics to the words of the music you will hear will be up on the screens, so you'll be able to read from there as well. You were given a 3x5 card when you arrived. During the service, you will be asked to stand with others in your row to read the information on the card. These cards represent millions of Jews who were killed during the Holocaust. We will hear their names and their ages at the time of their death. At the end of the service, please return your service booklets and those cards to the rear of the sanctuary. Yom Hashoa is a time when Jews throughout the world formally recall the 6 million Jews and 3 million Christians of Europe who were tortured and murdered during the Second World War. We remember the splendor of their lives, as well as the terror of their deaths. Countless memoirs and diaries written by survivors plead and demand that we remember the details of how they were degraded, brutalized, and killed. We recall part of what they witnessed, part of the horrors that they suffered, in order to remember them and to remind others. On this day, and not on this day alone, we perpetuate their testimony, recalling the words of Ignacy Schipper, who perished in Majdanek. Nobody will want to believe us, because our disaster is the disaster of the entire civilization. We will have the thankless job of proving to a reluctant world that we are able, the murdered brother. There is no adequate reaction to the Holocaust, but we must not ignore it, and we must not forget its victims. Elie Wiesel of blessed memory tells us to remember is to create links to affirm one's faith in humanity, and to convey meaning on our fleeting endeavors. The aim of memory is to restore dignity to justice.
In the presence of eyes which witnessed the slaughter, which saw the oppression the heart could not bear, and has witnessed the heart that once taught compassion until the days came to pass that crushed human feeling. I have taken an oath to remember it all, to remember not once to forget not one thing to the last generation when degradation shall cease, to the last, to its ending, when the rod of instruction shall have come to conclusion. An oath, not in vain passed over the night of terror. An oath, no morning shall see me at fleshpots again. An oath, lest from this we learn nothing.
We begin with silence, the silence of death, the silence after destruction. There are times when songs falter, when darkness fills life, when mortarum becomes a constellation of faith against the unrelieved black of space about us. There are no words to reach beyond the edge of night, no messenger to tell the full tale. There is only silence, the silence of Job, the silence of 6 million, the silence of memory. Let us remember them as we link our silences.
Even when God is silent. Even when God is silent was written during World War II on the walls of the cellar by a Jew in a concentration camp called Cologne. I believe in the sun when it is not shining, and I believe in love even when there is no one there, and I believe in God even when he is silent.
We kindle these lights in memory of the 6 million Jews murdered by the Nazis and their collaborators. May the memory of the righteous be for a blessing. Who's got a lighter? Who's got a lighter?
He's got a lighter. He's coming with a lighter.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Candle 1, in memory of the helpless infants, children, and teenagers who were cut down like young trees before their time, before they had a chance to experience life.
We shall not forget.
Candle 2, in memory of those who died isolated from their loved ones.
We shall not forget.
Candle 3, in memory of all mothers and fathers who were cruelly separated from their homes, their cultures, and their histories.
We shall not forget.
Candle 4, in memory of all scholars, teachers, and rabbis who died at Al-Kiddush Hashem for the sanctification of God's name.
We shall not forget.
Candle 5, in memory of the heroes of the resistance who fought the Nazis, so few against so many.
We shall not forget.
Candle 6, in memory of the martyrs who gave their lives to help their brothers and sisters under the Nazis.
We shall not forget. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in the secret fastness of the heart. Blessed is the heart with the strength to stop its beating for honor's sake. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling flame.
A voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and widow weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted, for they are no more. Is it nothing to you, all you who pass by? Look and see. Is there any pain like that which has befallen us? For not only was our money taken, a few more things, like beds and bathrooms and song and stories. Air. Not only was our furniture taken, but a few more things like hallways and windows and bags and babies. Hair. Not only our time was taken, but a few more things like hinges and handles and brothers and sisters. Prayer. Not only our breath was taken, but a few more things like shame and shadow, space and spirit. God. What was also taken from the victims of the Holocaust were their names. No more Joshua or David or Miriam or Cohen or Rosenberg or Henkin. Here are the names that replaced those 20001. 15439 16402 20249. The book of Exodus begins with the words, "These are the names." Your name is important to you. How do you feel when somebody doesn't know your name or gets it wrong, when you're stripped of your name, your history, your identity, your everything is taken away from you in one moment? And that's why in Judaism we hallow our names. Paragraph after paragraph in the Torah is just one list after another of people's names. Our name is holy. God is called Hashem, the name. We hold every name close, sacred, solemn, and special.
Is not a flower a mystery no flower can explain? Is not God the growing, the pattern which has no end, is never quite the same? Is not God in the heart that sees it and weeps for beauty? Why then, God, this mystery, that the bombs fall and the sprays kill and the flames rise and the children go up in smoke? Why is there still a flower to remind us of you? Why does the sun still burn to give us life? How do we still turn to you? Why cannot we help but turn to you? But why? Why do we turn to you so late?
אלה שמות בני ישראל.
נשיר לנשמת כל שם ושם כל נשמה. נשיר לנשמת כל שם ולקדושת כל נשמה. ולקדושת כל נשמה. Let us sing a soul in every name, and the name of every soul. Let us sing a soul in every name, the sacred name of every soul. Let us sing the soul of every name, the sacred name of every soul. נברך את עין החיים as we bless the source of life. נברך את עין החיים וכה נתברך.
We read responsively. You who live secure in your warm houses, who return at evening to find hot food and friendly faces. Consider that this has been. I commend these words to you. Engrave them on your hearts when you are in your house, when you walk on your way, when you go to bed, when you rise. Repeat them to your children, or may your house crumble, disease render you powerless, your offspring avert their faces from you. Would rows 1, 2, and 3 please stand and read the names on your card?
Esther Cohen, 49.
Ghetto Rothstein, 10.
Benzion Eisenbaum, 44.
Simcha Einbinder, 28.
Miklos Grosinger, age 8.
Mayer Pearl, age 49.
Yakov Lukatsky, age 25.
Moise Ziegler, 55.
Berta Barna, 56.
Vega Stein, 21.
David Lefkowitz, 22.
Abraham Gringlass, 5.
Samuel Macklin, 48.
Paulina Califf, 26.
Flora Ehrlich, age 40.
Manya Vox, 17.
Mikhail Israelite, age 5. My Aunt Dora, age 35. Her husband, Max, age 37. And their son, Harold, age 7.
Raquel Levenstein, age 32.
Zippy Waker, age 7.
Garish Gruber, age 12.
Albert Gamliel, age 16. Leah Horton, 15.
Yehuda Ostrachan, 67.
Chiyuri Abraham, age 2.
Sonia Shamarkovitz, age 26.
Yenta Payist, age 32.
Bertzion Abrovich, 46.
Emma Rossman, age 4.
Elsie Frankenberg, 48.
Renee Melzer, 4.
Ruth Igdelski, age 3.
Rita Rose, 39.
Moritz Rabinowitz, 55.
Laszlo Horowitz, 12.
Chaim Miller, 10.
Raya Schwartzberg, 23.
Simon Abergorowitz, 10.
Yankel Fridman, age 61.
Eli, Eli. Hannes Anish was a Hungarian Jew, one of 37 Jews who lived in the British Mandate for Palestine, now Israel. who were trained by the British Army to parachute into Yugoslavia during the Second World War in order to help save the Jews of Hungary, who were about to be deported to the German death camp in Auschwitz. In March 1944, she and two male colleagues, Yoel Pagi and Peretz Goldstein, were parachuted into Yugoslavia and joined a partisan group. After landing, they learned the Germans had already occupied Hungary, so the men decided to call off the mission as too dangerous. Shanice continued and headed for the Hungarian border. At the border, she was arrested by Hungarian gendarmes, who found the British military transmitter she was carrying, used to communicate with the SOE and other partisans. She was taken to a prison in Budapest, tied to a chair, stripped, then whipped and clubbed for 3 days. The guards wanted to know the code for her transmitter so they could find out who the other parachutists were. She did not tell them. However, even when they brought her mother into the cell and threatened to torture her too. She was executed by a firing squad before the judges had returned a verdict. She kept diary entries until her last day, November 7th, 1944. One of them read, "In the month of July, I shall be 23. I played a number in a game. The dice have rolled. I have lost." And another, "I love the warm sunlight." Hannah Shanice wrote the prose for Eli Eli, which was set to music by David Zahar.
We continue on page 7. Silence. Where in this Holocaust is the Word of God? Not in a storm, nor in the shaking earth, nor in the fire, but only within us. The world was silent. The world was still. And now survivors stammer, their words are haunted. Behind the silence, a witness to the sin of silence. What pains were taken to save cathedrals, museums, monuments from destruction. Treasures of art must be preserved. They are the song of the human soul. And in the camps and streets of Europe, mother and father and child lay dying, and many looked away. To look away from evil, is this not the sin of all good people?
We remember what has happened. That has made prayer for some of us necessary and for others of us impossible. We can never redeem what has been done. Let us resolve not to be silent, but to raise our voices whenever today people. An incomprehensible tragedy has occurred, at least in part because no one or a few spoke up. They were afraid. We are afraid. Let us, both people who claim faith and people who have lost faith, remember. May our memory and their spirit prompt us to speak, to protest, to protect, to howl, and to be silenced when power demands our worship, as it always does. Rows 4, 5, and 6, could you stand and read the names on your cards?
Jeannie Postigsky, 48. Joseph Barna, 59.
Rukel Ackerman, 8.
Edgar Schoenberg, 10.
Joseph Grombowski, 32. Sendel Applebaum, age 37.
My family, Teitelbaum, Burko, Vladimiritz, August 28, 1942, 3 generations.
Anna Tepler, 34, and all the rest of my family that did not make it out of Europe.
Ben Zion Mazor, 38.
Laura Othenall, 10.
Hannah Goldinger, age 26.
Lev Brandt, 49. Kahaya Kogan, 45.
Otto Price, 22.
Mozek Pirovitz, 72.
Amelie Van Cleef, 73.
Zvi Kalek, age 1.
Rivka Kopelman, 42.
Ernesto Ruiz, 88.
Aharon Einstein, 38.
Jacob Beck, age 9.
Pesach Cartman, age 48.
Fredia Lerner, 40.
Bella Fuchs, 39.
Elise Bottom, 70.
Misha Levy, 51.
Philip Garcia, 60.
Joseph Levenstein, 30.
Sabina Ikowitz, age 10. Beryl Figler, age 58.
Raquel Gitstein, 51.
Kana Lazarus, 61. Sarah Steinheimer, 73.
Sofa Fell, 28.
Jane Anbinder, 28.
Please be seated. How can we give thanks when we remember Treblinka? Only silence speaks loudly enough for our millions who were marched into the abyss. We have been where you did not find you, O hidden one. Yet even there are people saying, I believe in redemption, ani ma'amin. And they sang again, never say you walk the final road. And even then, this deathless people was renewing itself, its life. Whose faith is equal to this people's? Whose will to live? The storm ends. In the sky, a rainbow signals hope and new life. Again and yet again, there is a song to sing. Will rows 7 and 8 please rise and say the names on your cards?
Frederick Arnold, 42.
Shandor Katz, 42.
Robert Radu, murdered, 69.
Kate Visser, age 44.
Oscar Weiss, age 6.
Martha Shamus, 42. Bernard Wilk, 44.
Yanko Petrovich, age 46.
Olga Alpelson, age 64.
Leo Cohn, age 50.
Dezo Lorenz, 43.
Jenna Goldchild, age 4.
Laszlo Grossman, age 3.
Please be seated.
The Partisans' Hymn. The song is called Zagnit Kinmol in Yiddish and is known simply as the Hymn of the Partisans. From the ghettos and the camps, it has journeyed across generations to become the official hymn of many remembrance ceremonies in Israel and abroad. The words were originally written by Yiddish poet and resistance member Hirsch Glick, who was only 21 years old when he first recited it at a Yiddish literature event in the Vilna ghetto. Though Glick disappeared, and was presumed to have died a year later, his song quickly spread beyond Vilna. The song's tone and mode perfectly captured the zeitgeist of the various resistance movements around Europe. Out of respect to those whose memories we evoke, please rise. Please join us on page 12. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the open of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. As we remember them.
Please rise for the memorial prayer. El male rachamim, shochen b'meromim, hametzeh menucha nechona, al kanafei hashechina. B'ma'alot kedoshim u'tehorim kezahar, harakia
מזהירים את נשמות כל אחינו ואחיותינו הקדושים והטהורים שהומתו ושנהרגו ושנשחטו ושנשרפו ושנטבחו ושנחנקו על קידוש השם בגן עדן בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם מנוחתם לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם וסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם אדוני הוא נחלתם וינוחו בשלום על משכבותיהם ונאמר אמן.
Everyone has a name given to him by God and given to him by his parents. Everyone has a name given to her by her stature and given to her by her clothing. Everyone has a name given to him by the mountains and given to him by the walls. Everyone has a name given to her by the stars and given to her by her neighbors. Everyone has a name given to him by his sins and given to him by his longing. Everyone has a name given to her by her enemies and given to her by her love. Everyone has a name given to him by his holidays and given to him by his work. Everyone has a name given to her by the seasons and given to her by her blindness. Everyone has a name given to him by the sea and given to him by his death.
Please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah. B'yalma dibarach hirutei. V'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon. Uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman korib v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba Mavorach. La'olam u'hamei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar. V'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal. Shemei Kudasha Berechu. Le'ela Minkal Berchata V'Shirata. Tushbechata V'Nechemata. De'amiran B'Alma B'Yimru. Amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba Min Shemaya. V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. B'Yimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Mramav. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. B'Yimru. Amen. You may be seated.
Now that the choir has sat down, we'd like you to stand and read the names on your cards. You have cards? Okay. A microphone?
Sven Gettler, age 31. Clara Brassen, 8 years old. Yolan Markush, age 41.
David Eiferman, age 28.
Haim Nataf, 18.
Naftali Meir, age 37.
David Vox, age 2.
Oscar Weiss, 6.
Zelig Marcus, 60.
Boris Gluskin, 18.
Marie Gans, 75.
Ben Ettinger, 2.
George Singer, 10.
Jacob Kellner, age 6.
Gila Krasik, 19.
Chaim Gorfinkel, 6. Martin Lisser, 30.
Eli Levy, age 3.
Vera Voloshin, age 11.
Meyer Pirowitz, 36.
David Kapnik, age 4.
Manya Vyasman, age 17.
Rose Wienthal, age 47.
Shimon Brandis, age 43.
Chaim Musman, age 52.
Ben Zion Malamud, age 44. Anatoly Pali, age 1. Ani Amaim. Dark clouds began to cover the skies of Europe, the clouds of Nazism. In spite of the terrible decrees, the yellow patch, and the ghettos, most Jews could not fathom what was about to befall them. Only a few managed to escape the clutches of the Nazi occupation to safe havens. Meanwhile, in Poland, tens of thousands of Jews were being shipped off daily to their death in cattle cars that were part of the railroad system. Roused from their warm beds in Warsaw, in the middle of the night, husbands were separated from their wives, children wrested from the arms of their parents. The elderly were often shot on the spot in front of their loved ones. Then the Jews were gathered and sent off in those trains to a place where their existence would no longer trouble the Nazis, to Auschwitz, Treblinka, Majdanek. Inside the crowded cars, over the clatter of the cattle car wheels, rose the sounds of people gasping, sighing, weeping, and dying. One could hear the stifled cries of children crushed together. But in one such car, headed toward the infamous death camp Treblinka, the sound of singing could be heard. The woods of Maimonides stand as witness against the atrocities of the Holocaust. People of faith were not shaken by it. I believe with the perfect faith in the coming of the Messiah, and even though he may tarry, nevertheless, I wait each day for his coming.
We conclude our service this evening with the words of Elie Wiesel. For the survivor who chooses to testify, it is clear his duty is to bear witness for the dead and for the living. He has no right to deprive future generations of a past that belongs to our collective memory. To forget would be not only dangerous, but offensive. To forget the dead would be akin to killing them a second time. Sometimes I am asked if I know the response to Auschwitz. I answer that not only do I not know, but I don't know even if a tragedy of this magnitude has a response. What I do know is there is response in responsibility. When we speak of this era of evil and darkness, so close and yet so distant, responsibility is the key word. The witness has forced himself to testify. For the youth of today, for the children who will be born tomorrow, he does not want his past to become their future.
Our final benediction is based on Psalm 19, verse 15. The traditional text reads, "May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer." Please rise. Thank you for coming. Good evening.
As long as it's open.